Hi, welcome back to the workshop for episode 3 of the Shed of Dreams ES335 build, and in this episode we're going to start the process of carving the top and the back. Now it's worth bearing in mind that virtually everything I'm going to attempt in this video I've never done before. So this is going to be a learning process, but hopefully a happy one. Now I can see the carving process being quite a long and drawn out one, so I'm going to break it down. I'm not going to try and cover it all in one video for a number of reasons. I think firstly, there's just too much content. And secondly, I think if I was trying to do that, I'd rush it, and that's just going to be a recipe for disaster. Okay, so I've got these out of the clamps and I've just simply used a card scraper to clean up the worst of the glue and the joint, and they've come out really nicely. So the next thing we need to do is make them look a little bit more guitar-like. So to that end, I'm going to put some centre lines onto them, use my template that we built in the first episode and get the body shape onto these blanks, and then I'm going to cut them out on the bandsaw. Now I'm not going to route the top and the back, for the simple reason there are risks inherent with routing the body shape. It can cause blowouts, it can damage the timber, and in this case I don't really think it's necessary. If I was making, say, a Telecaster body or something like that, where I've got 1 3/4 inches of profile exposed on the side of the guitar and I want that to be nice and square and the right shape, routing is a really good solution for that. But on this particular guitar, by the time I've finished carving, I'm going to be left with 6mm of thickness. And once the guitar body is put together, I'm going to be routing that off to fit the binding. So there's no point, in my point of view, in routing a perfectly clean, lovely, beautiful edge onto this just to route it back off again. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these as close as I can to the line on the bandsaw, and then I'm going to actually hold the two blanks together with super glue and masking tape and sand that edge in, so I've got two that are exactly the same shape. Right, let's get on it. Now you might be able to see as well, I've just marked these up as to what they are. So this is the back and this is going to be the outside face of the back, mainly because it's not quite as nice looking as the other piece of timber. So that's going to be the top. Okay, with that done, we'll get these onto the bandsaw. Okay, so that's the top and the back cut to shape. This is the back. I'm going to start the routing on this one first, because you never know. If I make a slight mistake on here, it might be savable, as it's the back. Now what I need to do is use the router to start removing the bulk of the waste for the carve. And to do this, I've got these 3 little templates. And the way it works is, I first use this template and remove all of that waste, and I believe this needs to be down to 9mm thickness. Once we've done that, we take it off, we put this template in place, and we route down again, taking off another 3mm, and then once that's done, we add the final one and do the same trick. So effectively what will happen is that we'll step up from 9mm on the very edge in 3mm steps until we get to the very top little piece, which is what will be from this little template here. I've marked on the center line the 3 locations where these templates start. And what I've also done for the first one at least, and I might address this on the others as we go along, is I've created this additional little template that just fits on top, and that will just help me get out to these outside edge bits without the router getting too tippy. Now someone's asked me how I went about making this little set of templates for doing the carving, and it's basically exactly the same process as I used for creating the master body template. As you can see here, the lines are clearly shown on the plans, and then it was just a matter of tracing them and then transferring that onto some 1/2" MDF board, cutting them out and sanding them to shape. Okay, so the first step in this is to kind of get this marked out as to where it is I need to be routing down to. So I've set up a little wheel gauge, and I'm going to mark a line from the back face 9mm all the way around. Okay, so I've just put that gauge line in, and then I've just put some pencil in it so I can see it a little bit better. So we'll get this set up and then we can start the routing. Okay, so that's set up. Some of you might be wondering why it's 9mm I've marked there instead of 6, because ultimately the top needs to be 6mm thick at that edge. It's because if I routed it down to 6mm, these areas here would be too thin. So we need to use that 3mm to kind of put the curve in from this point down. Okay. I'm going to take this down in 2 passes because that's quite a lot of material to take off in one go. So I'm going to go down about 4mm on the first pass, then take the rest off with the second pass. This is quite hard material, so I'll see how it goes on the first pass. It might be the case that I actually do it in 3. We'll just see how it goes. Okay, so that's the first side done. There was a couple of things going on there that made this quite difficult. The paper on this template was tearing up as I was going along, which made the router a little bit grabby, which wasn't ideal, but there we go. If I can get it off, you can see what we've done. The other thing was, it's quite difficult not to let the router tip, so there's one or two little bits that we're going to have to deal with in the carve. Should be okay. I don't think I've gone down any further than I need to. So now we can move on to the second template. Basically we go through the same process, but this time we take it down only 6mm, which will then leave us the final 3mm to take off with this small one. And I can already see, just looking at this, that I'm going to have to do something about routing out to this bit here. I think I can get all of that okay, but this bit is going to be a major problem. So I'll get the template set up and we can get routing again. Okay, I've just made a little impromptu template here just to get at this area, then I'll move it back a bit and do the rest of that before finally going back to the actual template. I'm going to see if I can get this out in one pass on this little section. It's not as deep and there's not quite so much to take off, so we'll see how we go with that. Okay, so that's the first half of the back done. It's really scruffy. It's quite a difficult job, this. There's a couple of little bits where I've gouged a bit more out than I need to, and there's one major boo-boo there where I've kind of, the router snatched on me and it's kind of cut into that little step there. I'm hoping I can get rid of that when I do the carve. I'm pretty confident I can. If not, we'll just have to do another one. So I'm going to set this up again, but I'm going to do the rest of this half off camera. I'll join you back in a bit and see how we've done. Now I've seen plans for Les Pauls and other similar guitars that have an arched top on them, and they use the same process of routing around templates to achieve that, but they use way more templates. They've probably got 7 or 8 different levels that they route in, which means you're carving away less material once you've got the routing done. And I think if I was going to go down this route again, that's probably something I'd look into. Okay, and that's the second half done. It's not perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better than the first one, so we're heading in the right direction at least. Okay, so now it's just a case of doing exactly the same on the front. Whew, okay, so that's the routing done. That's taken absolutely ages. It's taken several hours. Very noisy. I'm not sure any of my neighbours are going to be talking to me anymore. This is the first one I did. This is the back, and there's a couple of mistakes on it. There's a big chunk been taken out there, and there's some kind of roughness spotted around, but I'm pretty sure I can take it all out and still kind of get to the finished thickness that I need. So I'm not overly concerned. I don't think I've broken it. However, this is the second one, so this is the front, and a little bit of practice has worked wonders. I'm really happy with this one. It's a lot better than the first one. There's a little bit of a scrape there, but other than that, it's pretty good. So that's all good. So next up is to get some gouges out and start shaping this down into a carve. But I'm not going to tackle that today. I'm going to leave that till next time. So as always, leave me a like if you've enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.